Okay. All right. So we are going to start recording. And oh, I just wait, except I just blacked myself out. So let me let me change that. Pin me. There we go. Okay, that's what we need. All right. Okay. So after the introduction of the new puppy Brighty and sharing about Diane's passing and the memorial service, then we just were talking about at an energetic level how the things that we've been going through over the past couple of years, particularly the COVID and how the COVID experience and how that was something that touched every country, every place in the world. And it was a unifying, we were talking about the unifying aspects of that and how that unification is going to weave itself energetically into the whole, the energy of the whole, and we will all continue to be influenced by that unification and by the transformation that we are all going through in so many different ways, and the transformation of the culture as well. More to say about that later, but so we ended with a comment about the spirit, the human spirit, the aliveness and strength of the human spirit in Ukraine, and how so many people around the world are now also tuned in to that and aware of what's happening, and so what we've been through has changed our collective response, and growing the empathy and the love and the healing energy that we're sending from everywhere around the world. I was, as many of you maybe have been on calls recently, and like everybody is, not everybody, but many people are having, the groups spend some time sending healing energy to that part of the world. And one of the things that I like to say as a group talks about it, like I was on a group where there are 300 people, and they're saying, like we do this really powerful healing work, and so the energy we're sending is really powerful. And whenever I hear that, I have this thing where I immediately, and actually this person did too, but I immediately go to imagine how many people, how many groups all around the world right now are sending healing energy and light and love to that part of the world, right? To all the dynamics there, that the best outcome, that people be safe, that freedom, prevail there, and the good be done for everyone. So that it's like a rolling thing, if there's 24 hours of time zones around the world, that this rolling sharing of light and energy. And so we're going to do that now for the next 5 minutes. And however you do it, you might already have your own ways. You probably likely have your own ways of doing it, of just going inside, getting centered, closing your eyes, going inside, calling perhaps on the divine, pulling in, drawing in, opening up to bringing in the energy, divine energy, and letting it fill us up to overflowing is one way to do it. And then send the energy that's flowing in, send the energy to the people in that area of the world, in the Ukraine, sending it to people who are grieving, people who are really struggling right now, sending it anywhere that you know of in your personal life and your personal connections where people are experiencing pain or health issues or psychological issues or an economic, whatever it might be. Okay. So I will quietly come back in 5 minutes. So join together in our circle, in the healing light and energy of this beautiful circle. All right. So as you feel ready, bring to completion the energy work you've been doing, and wiggle your toes, your fingers, roll your body around, loosen up, get back in your body. Gently, be gentle with yourself. 5 minutes is not a long time, but when we really get into a deep space of an expanded space of sending energy, then it can be enough time to have to then, you know, um, sort of bridge back into this energy, this level of consciousness. Right? It's more physical, embodied, 3D reality from the larger reality. Okay. All right. Couple of nice deep breaths. And as you're taking these breaths, I just wanted to say, I realized that I wanted to thank the person who was saying that, reading the blog post about the pit, both kind of falling into it, what falling into it is about, and the importance of, and all the tools we have to climb out of it. That I'm glad that I'm writing things that are useful and helpful to people. Um, I hear other writers who, who say, feedback is really wonderful, and we don't always get a whole lot of feedback. So I really appreciate that. And so that's what I wanted to say. Okay, so now we've already gone inside to expanded space. And so let's do this again. Go inside, focusing on breathing, being aware of our breath, our breathing, feeling that in our bodies, breathing it out, letting it go, breathing it in and out. Noticing what density, so density is an energetic word, right? So we can feel that we have some dense energies or some heavy energies around us or within us, which is not the same thing as feeling constriction, constricted and tight. Like more, we can feel that muscularly, right? So we're not breathing very deeply because of the tension around our chest, right? Or our neck hurts or our shoulders hurt, or any part of our body actually can feel that way, but that's not quite the same thing as density. Density could also feel like, I don't know, I don't feel a lot of brightness around my third eye, for example, right? Or maybe not around my, actually we could start at the first chakra and check in with the first chakra. And as I'm saying this, I'm realizing that, last week we focused on chakras. I focused on chakras too, but the chakras in the field more than the chakras in the body. So you can just feel into that first chakra energetically and see what you notice energetically. Perhaps see what you notice physically. And then also check in with your feelings of belonging and inclusion, right? Of, your connections with the earth right now, the health of your body. Like, how strong do you feel in your health right now? How grounded you feel to the earth? And then moving up into the second chakra, just below the navel, and the chakra of polarities, I guess, in a sense. It's also of creativity, of relationship, right? Of abundance, bringing abundance into our lives, creating, like creating connection, creating abundance, creating possibility. And see what you notice. Looking for density and keeping an eye out for any emotional issues that you might notice. And you can send the density away. Just breathe the density away. There's other ways to do it, which we can do at other times. But right now, we're just breathing it away. Like you could send your breath down through the central axis, send it out through the chakra, and have the breath go out through. Let's do that. The breath go out through the first chakra. And as it goes through, it cleanses, like a gentle wind brings fresh air, like it's bringing fresh air into that chakra and the space beyond it. And then the same thing into the second chakra, breathing in. You can be breathing in from the earth and the heaven energy. And then sending that breath out through the second chakra, cleansing and freshening that second chakra. And then up to the third at the solar plexus, right? And this third is about our personal power. It's about our thinking, right? So how does your third chakra feel? And if you don't feel anything, you don't feel anything. Don't worry about it. Just be with what you notice and do the breathing anyway, right? We're not, a lot of this takes awareness. It takes time. Sometimes we're more aware of what's happening in certain chakras than we are in others. So all kinds of factors that contribute to our awareness at these different levels. Plus, when this is new to us, we don't have a highly developed awareness about what's happening. But anyway, so here we are at the third chakra, about personal power, about standing our ground, standing in our truth, standing for ourselves, right? And breathe in and then send that breath out through that chakra, cleansing that third chakra. And maybe as you're sending the cleansing breaths through, you might be noticing actually some density then, because you can perhaps feel that freshening, cleansing effect as you're breathing out through that chakra. And let me say, I should have said this at the beginning. And if I would have thought about what I was doing before I started doing it, I may have remembered this. But let's also remember the back of the chakras, right? The second through the sixth chakra actually flow horizontally along the same lines as the ground, right? So there's a front and the back to each one of those. So we could drop back to the second chakra and breathe in, and then breathe out through the back of the second chakra. And then come up to the third chakra. And now we're going to breathe out through the back of the third chakra. And then we're going to come up to the fourth chakra, to the heart chakra. You might want to put your hands here or one hand here to feel your heart center. Is there any density here? Any thickness or cloudiness? And then what do you notice about your breathing? Is there any tension here? So nice deep breath in. And then breathe out through that front of that fourth chakra. I am really in the parasympathetic. I just keep yawning all the time, which also could mean that somebody else here is really shifting into the parasympathetic, because that's what happens to me when people I'm working with are doing that. All right, and now another deep breath in and out through the back of the fourth chakra, cleansing the back. Now I could really feel that in the back of me, really like almost like shadow, like, oh, it's kind of shadowy, kind of smoky or cloudy back there. And I could feel the spin of my breath kind of pulling away that cloudy smokiness. And then up to our throat chakra. What do you notice there? What do you notice about energetically? What do you notice physically? What may come up emotionally? You know, the fifth chakra is about communication. It's about speaking our truth. So it is taking the courage that we grow in the fourth chakra, the heart, the fourth chakra, I didn't say, the transitional chakra from the physical to the energetic and spiritual. It's also the place of courage, right? It's a place of compassion. And we need deep, strong breaths for courage as well. So then we express courage by and one of the ways we express courage is by what we speak, having the courage to speak our truth, right? Having the courage to speak truth, having the capacity to speak with kindness and compassion and love, and be clear about the difference between speaking our truth with all those high vibrational energies and feeling like we can't say what we really feel because we'll hurt somebody else's feelings, right? And that, of course, is something that women are prone to in a way that is much more figural, I think, than for men. But not all women too, but we are socialized that we're not supposed to do that. Like we, you know, if we believe something or we have a feeling that if we express that feeling, we can hurt somebody else. So then it's our fault, rather than realizing that and really being schooled to know that each of us is responsible for our feelings and for how we receive what another person expresses. So we're responsible for how we express what we express, but we're not responsible for another person's feelings. If we don't express what we feel and intend with love and compassion and kindness, we're responsible for that. We're responsible for not showing up in integrity. So we all have, I think all of us, I would say, have a lot to learn about how we express and how we express with greater and greater amounts of integrity and even approaching perhaps impeccability, at least as a light at the end of the tunnel. So breathing in, you probably have already been doing this as I've been talking, but breathing in and then breathing out, sending that air out through the throat, cleansing any density, freeing up any constriction. And then a deep breath in again for the back of the neck. the back of the fifth chakra, which is really up by the nape of the neck. Breathing out, cleansing any density there, freeing the neck up, opening our neck up, opening the passageways so that we can speak with more clarity, more resonance in our voice. And then moving up to the sixth chakra, to the pineal gland, the third eye, that place of inner vision and inner seeing, which is more than clairvoyance, but also includes clairvoyance. Insight, right? It's one of the ways that we receive messages from higher dimensional energy. We might receive it in the form of images, right? Colors, movement. And checking in with our pineal gland. It's kind of hard to feel it, although it's probably easier to feel your pineal gland energetically. If you're aware of your pineal gland energetically, there's a focused set. I don't know how to describe it, almost like a power. Sometimes feels like a pulsing, like right, here in your skull. Our pineal gland doesn't have, well, if it has nerve endings, it doesn't, we don't touch them. So we don't feel very much about the pineal gland. But what we want to do with the pineal gland is to soften it, right? That there are substances in the world that calcify it. It is a crystalline structure. Actually, all our body is crystalline. It is a hypercrystalline structure, let's call it. And it has actually crystals within it. It's a pretty astonishing, amazing structure. And so we want to breathe in all that divine light and energy and send it through the pineal gland, just cleansing the pineal gland energetically and physically. Forward, and then breathing in again and sending that flow backwards, sending the breath backwards through the backwards flow of the sixth chakra. See if you notice any tingling in your head. And then up to the crown chakra. And at this point, you might be aware of more energy than you're used to being aware of because of all of the work that we've been doing with the other chakras. So you might feel a quite pronounced tingling at the top, at the crown. It might even be a pretty wide area. And so let's breathe in again. And send the breath up and out through the crown chakra, cleansing as it spins out the crown chakra. The crown chakra, of course, is the place where we most directly receive the divine energy. While we go within through the heart center, it is through the crown that we are open to the expansiveness of higher dimensional space and reality. Brings in all this healing light, loving light into the central axis of our light body. So we want this to be really wonderful and clear too. All right, so just feel what you feel now. See what you notice. You feel perhaps lighter, maybe more balanced. Sometimes we don't feel balanced from the right to the left or the front or the back. This ought to have helped you become particularly, well, more balanced in all those ways, but particularly front and the back, because we often don't pay attention to ourselves, the back of ourselves, energetically, emotionally, physically we do when we hurt, but otherwise, we're pretty inured to sensation there unless we develop it. All right, so now this nice open flow, balanced, grounded, connected to the divine. So with this energetic configuration, I invite you to go to the belief, the issue, the stressor that you wanted to work on tonight, or the one that is the most up for you, right? You know what I mean by that. The one that right now has the most energy. You can feel it, really feel this memory, or really feel this particular issue, this pattern right now. Our bodies, what do I want to say? Our high selves or our beings, perhaps, are sending messages all the time through our bodies. And mostly we are so shut off and distracted by the external world that we don't know, we really don't notice, and we don't pay attention, and we dismiss a lot of the messages that come to us through our bodies, through our energy systems like the chakra system. That sense of balance, right? Side to side, front to back. But our beings know what the next thing is in our healing journey. And you will be getting messages about what it is that is the most important thing for you to focus on right now. It may surprise you. It may not be what you thought you were going to work on tonight, but it might be. There are things that get said that provoke memories, provoke reactions in people, just because the charge is there and we hear it. We hear something that is associated and it activates that charge. So now I ask you to time travel yourself back to the moment of a particular memory. A strong and difficult memory is always good. We want to go, as close to the core, what we know the core is of an upset, because the closer we get to the core, the more we can release the whole pattern and release all the associations to it, freeing ourselves from a reaction pattern that limited us, limited our options, limited our sense of ourself, our sense of our own majesty, I want to say, our own power, limited our sense of what's possible in the world, possible for us, possible for the world. And so we are undoing that. Healing process is a process of undoing all of that. And when we get to the core of any one thing, the impact is much more powerful, much more freeing, much more enlivening and transforming. Would that every one of these sessions be a really transformative experience for everybody. That would be my wish, right? As much as everybody could handle, right? Some people might feel like, well, that sounds like a little too much. Others might be like, yeah, bring it on, because the more I heal, the more I release, the stronger I am, The more energy I have, the brighter I am, the better I feel, the healthier I am, the more connected I am to myself, to others, and to the divine. So bring it on. All right. All right. So feeling into what is it? What's the hurt? What's the pain? What might be some of the beliefs about this, about you, about this? Where does it reside inside of you? How deep inside is it? And if you were to let yourself really open up to how upsetting or how much this really is impacting you, that, just that question can give you a sense of, oh, right, this is bigger, this is deeper than I thought. And let me trust the process and trust myself and know that I can go deeper perhaps than I feel really comfortable. But I can do more healing, which will be good for every part of me. Of course, it's a way of loving every single part of me. So walking that step down deeper, like, oh, letting myself be really open and honest with this is how it feels. This is the deep pain that it touches. What are some of the deep pains? The deepest pains are about belonging. The deepest pains are about connection or the lack of connection, about our own worth. At one level, I think it's those two things, our worth and our connection. What are we connected to, and how deep does that go? What's happened to our ability to connect and trust and strength and love and openness? Or what's happened to our sense of worth? How lonely may I have felt? How badly may I have felt? And let's start with some tapping now. So, no matter what I've experienced in my life, no matter what I've done, no matter what has happened to me, I choose to deeply and completely trust and believe in my own worth, my own lovability. And I choose to know that I am powerfully connected to all beings and to the web of life. And I am powerfully connected to the higher dimensional beings of love and light that are with me, to my ancestors. And that I am deserving of feeling these connections. I'm deserving of feeling loved and loving and trusting that I am worthy of love. So no matter what, no matter what it is about the particular experience that you're working on now, tell yourself, I choose to heal. I deserve to heal. I am fully and completely and totally capable of healing. And I call on all the divine to help me. To help me throw off shackles, to help me come into more balance, to help me come into higher and higher resonance, if that's what my desire is. To help me manifest what's in my highest good, what will bring my heart joy, peace, happiness, fulfillment. Top of your head. All the pains related to this. Eyebrows. All the physical pain on the sides, all the emotional pain. Underneath, all the cognitive pain, right? All the negative thoughts, all the judgmental thoughts that are pain, right? Judgment, let's think about this for a moment as we keep tapping, that judgments and being judgmental towards ourselves and towards others is an expression of our pain. It's an expression of cognitive pain. So we judge, we have thoughts about ourselves or others that are not loving, right? They're not honoring, they're not in integrity, say. We all do it, right? Somehow we come through life with such a proclivity for judgment. And part of maturing and spiritually maturing, emotionally maturing, is to continue the effort wherever we are on our journey to release judgment and to transplant judgment with gratitude. We can have these practices of every time I notice myself in judgment, I'm going to intend to be in gratitude and to think of what I'm grateful for. So I'm going to move myself from judgment to gratitude. So there's cognitive pain. Obsessiveness is a kind of cognitive pain. Worry is a kind of cognitive pain, thinking and thinking over and over and over again, running things through our minds, feeling like we have to practice, we have to scan, right? That's not so much cognitive. Coming back up to above the lips, the energetic pain, which can be all kinds of things, right? Energetic pain can be exhaustion. Energetic pain can be heaviness, can be malaise, can be lack of motivation, a kind of thickness, if you will, right? It can also be an edginess, right? We've all felt that, like just this edgy discomfort, like I don't feel comfortable in my own skin, right? That's kind of an energetic pain. Collarbones. Shutting down energetically, losing connection to our higher selves, to the divine. Those are examples of energetic pain as well. So all these pains, there's just so many levels. And when we start talking about physical pain, of course, there's, at the level of their muscles and our bones and our organs, as we go deeper into the body and our glands. And then lower, like a scalar level lower into the cells and all the cells of our body, wrists and the fluid between our body and there's pain registering there from all these events, right? All these things that are all interwoven that really had an impact on us. Somebody said to me today, well, it's just my mentality. Like I shut down, I numb out, and that's just my mentality. Like, really, that more is a defensive pattern that you learned how to cope with trauma and stress in your life. It's not you, it's an effect, right? So whatever it is you're working on tonight, you know that there are all these effects happening every time this gets triggered, even though you're not aware of all the effects every time it gets triggered, but they're actually happening, right? It's affecting the whole of our body, and whatever affects the whole of our body in one moment is what recreates itself in the next moment, unless we intervene, right? So, like developing more awareness about our own energetic health, right? Let's say energetic health as a way of incorporating all the sub levels of health. So knowing that negative thoughts, knowing that upset, knowing that numbing out or shutting down, avoiding, even though we aren't conscious of the pain, is having an impact on our body temple, right? It's having an impact on our health at every level. And right now, there's nothing more important than boosting our health. I mean, there's lots of things, but boosting our health is going to be one of the most important things for us as we go forward. Through the food we eat, through the thoughts we allow, the thoughts we choose, the emotions we choose, and all the healing that we do on the sides. So checking in with these pains now as you're tapping on the sides. And what are you noticing now? Whatever the issue was, whatever the belief was, whatever the moment was, your wrists, what are you noticing now? We can notice while we're tapping. All right, now let's come back to the heart center. Take another nice deep breath here. A couple nice deep breaths. And maybe bring in through you like a wave, like you think of it as a wave or think of it as a divine breath. We were using the breath before, a divine breath coming in and blowing throughout the whole of you, blowing out any last residue of density or emotional upsetness or physical constriction or the toxins in the body from the constrictions and the judgments and the pains. This divine breath is breathing us clean and breathing us free, breathing us open, breathing us strong, breathing us loving and clear and energized for our life. And then let's do the zip up so that we hold that in, right? All this energized for life feeling, sensation, energy that we have right now. So we start in the first chakra and we sweep up on the in-breath. Exhale. Sweep up. Exhale. One more time, sweep up. Exhale. Bring the key in our fingers up to our lips. Put the key in that lock, twist it, lock that key or lock that lock, pull the key out, knowing that we are energetically creating, strengthening the membrane to hold on to this feeling, all these feelings, all these energies of being energized for life, for our lives in this coming week, especially, and forevermore from this moment forward. All right. So I send you love and I wish you all beautiful, beautiful weeks, enjoying the gorgeousness of the spring. All right. I just checked the chats and someone said that they have a beautiful prayer for Ukraine. So let's do that next week. Okay. All right. So thank you, everybody. All right. Be well. Thank you. All right. All right. I hope everybody has big smiles in their hearts and their faces right now. I do. Okay. Love you.